Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be testing two of the most popular and user-friendly inflatable solutions for dinghies on the market. This is my TrueKit. This is a Navigator 3.0 or 300. Basically 3 meters, it's just shy of 10 feet. This is my EasyRaft, and this is a Q270. Again, a little bit different in terms of setup and application, and I'm going to walk you through both of them.
I know what you're thinking. What the heck is he doing? And honestly, looking at this, I'm kind of thinking the same thing. I really wanted to try and demonstrate the stability and the usability of both of these boats. And so you can see here the TrueKit is the heavy weight of the TrueKit by comparison gives me a lot more stability. Trying to stand up, you know, moving around on the boat, everything else. Now, neither of these are stabilized with having an engine or a motor on the back. I also, in my infinite wisdom, thought it might be a good idea to demonstrate what it's like to get out of the boat and also back into the boat. So here we go. Trying to get in and just kind of show how easy, or in this case difficult, I can make something look. It actually feels a lot easier. You've got this D-ring on the front here that I'm holding on to, and I'm trying to get away from the sides because I want you to see that it's me that's getting in. I'm not using the walls or anything else to help. A little look up there, I grab one of the handles and then literally 1, 2, 3 kind of thing, and away we go. Grabbing onto these other handles is helpful, and then I'm able to haul my old bones body and probably too much weight into the front. But you can see that it really doesn't tip, it doesn't fire up at the back even without an engine or a motor on it. The EasyRaft by comparison is much lighter. You can see how easy it is to get in the water here, and the tubes probably are bigger, but it means that I'm not as confident just stepping into the boat. Because you can feel that lack of weight instantly. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. You can see it's still a very stable boat, but there isn't as much space inside to move around. Sitting on the tubes here is pretty much where you're going to find yourself, and obviously I'll do another video that will show both of these boats running and things like that in the applications I think they're being used for. But here we go, this should be fun. Trying to get out of the boat, into the water. Good work there. And then obviously getting back in. And watch the stern of the boat, the back of the boat. Here, I'm able to use the handles on the center. I've got nothing in the boat, and there's nothing on the back providing any kind of counterbalance. But I wonder what it would be like if I did have a bunch of stuff in the boat, and whether trying to get back in the boat this way would make as much sense, and whether I would actually end up losing some of those things.
So the first thing you notice is the size difference between these two packages. The EasyRaft comes in a much smaller space, and it's pretty easy to lift, one-handed, definitely with two hands, very, very light. The TrueKit, however, comes with two packages, two bags. One is holding all of the accessories, so like the hand pump, and I got some seats and things like that to go on it to make it more comfortable. And then also to lift it, and I did a bad job of packing it last time, so it's not really centered or balanced, but if I grab these two handles together and use this, you can maybe see the difference in the weight. It's about 70 pounds is kind of the advertised weight on this. So, but it feels, I don't know, it feels heavier than that. Anyway, that's the packing. Let's get these unpacked and let's inflate them and see what the difference is there. So, the EasyRaft came with a inflator, but no hand pump. And literally, all I do to be able to get it out is just to pull it out and roll it out of the bag. And then I'm able to take the bag off. Oop, should have done a better job of cleaning it last time. Let's get rid of that bag for the purposes of this. Fold this out this way. Fold this out this way. And then there are 4 tubes down at this end that I connect my pump to, and I'm going to inflate. Now, when you inflate this, it's very easy. It's 2.8 psi in all 4 tubes. So I'm gonna get busy with that, and I'll see you when it's inflated. Actually, this is a really nice bit of kit because it kind of comes, it's made by a company called Airbank, and this is the Puffer Pro. So I think it's just something that the EasyRaft guys found and include. It's a small unit like this, and in this side of the bag here you have all the various attachments and the hoses, and also cables for your 12-volt plug-in and so on. So all you do is you just find the inflate side. This, by the way, is the place to plug in, so you can plug in either the 12-volt or into your outlets to charge. And all I do is I attach this into the inflate, and I attach this. And you have to make sure these are not in, these are out. And I attach this in here. Turn it on. Set it to 2.8 if it's not. And then I just hit the power button again. And it starts up. And you can see the air coming into this far tube. Sorry, I'm sweating a lot here because it's like 1,000 degrees out here today. And it makes this very calm and very mild noise until it gets to about 0.7, 0.8. And once it gets there, the whole thing makes a whole different noise until it gets to 2.8. But if anyone's seen my TrueKit video, this is definitely a lot nicer than having to pump by hand. So at 0.6, the majority of this work is all done at the lower PSI, and then from like 0.7, 0.8 up to 2.8 moves very quickly. I'm sweating and I'm not doing anything. The other thing I really like about this is right here, it kind of gives you all the info that you need to have printed onto the boat itself. So it tells you, the max engine size that you want to put on this. It also tells you the max inflation. It also tells you the max weight. In this case, it's 770 pounds. Still at 0.6 as it inflates this one tube. 0.7. There we go, 0.8. The sound changes discernibly, and now it'll keep going pretty quickly up to 2.8. Okay, now that it's inflated, you can kind of get the size of it against me and how big it is. So this is a 270, and if I lift it for you, just to be able to show you how easy it is to lift, so pretty easy. I'm kind of backing it into my thighs, leaning back and just pulling on this. But you can see as I pick it up and throw it around, makes life very, very, very easy if weight is important to you. So let's have a quick kind of walk around it. First thing is, it comes with one of these. This is a pocket bench, and it attaches kind of neatly out of the way here. But if you want to put it on, it kind of flips out, and so you just kind of open it up, and then the straps that are in here then kind of form a bench, fold it around. These straps kind of form a bench that you can then use to ratchet across from one side of the boat to the other. Oop. There you go. And once you do that, that then forms a seat. And I'll put it together for you so you can see it, but you're never going to use this when you're just using the motor. It's really only for when you're using the oars and you're going to start rowing it, then you would use this, you would need this. Other than that, you're going to sit on one of the side tubes when you're using the motor. So that's what that is. Okay, so now let's have a look at the kind of the transom. And of course, with this boat, it's so light, it's easy to pick up and move around. And what you'll notice here is that you have these two oars here and here that you can use to row the boat. And so I want to show you one of them. So all I have to do is kind of loosen this, which is, of course, a lot easier to do when the camera's not on you, but there it is. Pretty easy. Okay, inside of this, it's really interesting. You just pull on the string and out comes this whole piece here. And this whole piece is what kind of forms the end of the paddle, if you like, and all you do is you open this side of the package, and then you slip this over this end of the oar. And again, always a lot easier to do when you're not recording it than when you are. There we are. And you go all the way down to the bottom, and there's a little inbuilt thing here, and there we go. That forms the base of your oar. And then from there, it's pretty straightforward just to unscrew and extend the arms. go, there's one, then tighten that back up. Probably should have done a practice run before I started filming it, but I wanted you to see it in kind of the real world application. So, okay, one, fully extended or ready for rowing. And if it looks like that was hard work because I'm sweating, actually wasn't hard work, but it's like 100 degrees and humid here today. So, okay, gonna pack this back up. Same thing here. Take this off. Just pull this at the bottom here. Yeah. Down, and it just rolls back up and glides. Oops, wrote it up properly, Mark. There we go. And then it just kind of glides back into there like that, and I can pop that back on, start pulling it tight. And it's important to keep these kind of tight, actually, because that enables them to stay pretty solid when you're rolling. Okay, so that's kind of it, you know. It's very straightforward, very easy to use, very easy to pack and unpack. Obviously, you have to spend 5 minutes getting the arms out if you're going to row it, but no one's ever going to row this, not unless your engine dies. So I wouldn't recommend rowing it. It can be done, but really you're going to use an electric motor. The transom here is obviously self-bailing, and you have these mesh ports through the boat, and they allow for water to go out as well. And it feels very comfortable just to sit on one of the side tubes and just roll around and have a motor here, and kind of away you go. I have the e-propulsion motor, and that has worked really well on this boat. So that, in essence, you've got a ton of handholds and things here and in the center of the boat. So that, in essence, is the EasyRaft solution. Now, I'll come back to the uses and applications of it in a little bit. Just going to put the seat back here for now. Very nice, very easy, very useful piece of kit, especially if you're on confined spaces, like I have my Ranger 27, Ranger Tug 27, and this fits really conveniently in the cockpit, in the center storage at the front of it, in front of a filter there. So giving me a ton more space and doesn't fall down into the bilge at all. Very easy to get out, very easy to unroll, unfurl, pretty easy to put back as well. And that's why I got this, was entirely for that use. Perfect. Okay, that is my EasyRaft. Okay, now for the heavy lifting. Okay, the TrueKit is also an inflatable solution, but unlike the EasyRaft, is a very different kind of application, I think. In order to get the TrueKit into places, I think you need one or one very strong person or two people, and obviously it takes up more space. So if you're on like my Ranger Tug, it's not the best application. However, if you are using it for cow camping and things like that, like I do, then this is a fantastic solution. Also, unlike the EasyRaft, which is mainly a displacement vessel, it goes through the water, as opposed to this, which you can use with outboard engines and up to about 10 horsepower. And this is a planing vessel, and so you can go on top of the water and you plane on the water. And so this TrueKit, and it's the Navigator 3.0 or 300, this TrueKit is way more usable if you're taking it to the water in a car and you're putting an outboard on and you want to go somewhere quickly. It's also very, very sturdy, as you would imagine, because of the extra weight. Now, when I had a larger boat, you know, the Ranger Tug is not as large, but I used to have more people that would come with me. This was a great solution. Now, unlike the EasyRaft, it comes in several parts. So this is the floor, and then these are the tubes that go around it. And there are 3 inflation areas on these tubes. A much more bulky transom, an all-around bulky boat. And so while I'm walking around it here, you know, you can see the space that I'm using and that I would need. And so on my Ranger Tug, this is not my solution. However, driving to a place, setting this up, and then dragging it to the water becomes very easy with this, and I'm going to show you why. Okay. This is the second bag, and in this I keep all of these things. So this is my hand pump, and if anyone has watched the video I did about 2 years ago of me hand inflating this, that buys me the ability to not have to do that today, because that was tiring. So I bought an aftermarket electric pump, which is, I guess, similar to the one that came with the EasyRaft, but I had to buy this one. And then I have these 2 seats. I think one from memory came with the boat, and one I ordered, or maybe both came with the boat, I'm not sure. And then I ordered, you know, these bags as well, because, you know, this TrueKit is definitely something that I'm not using as a small little tender off the back of the Ranger Tug. I'm typically spending a lot more time on it. And then also in this bag, I keep the oars. Okay, can I get this bag out of the way? And I'm going to work on inflating this boat, which is a lot more fiddly to put together. Still pretty easy, but you need more space. Okay, so on this side of the boat, there are 2 tubes that need inflation. So, let's see if I can do it this way round. And away we go. Now with this one, it's a little different. You have a tube at the back, a tube on that back, and then this tube kind of wraps around the bow. And you don't want to overinflate this one to start with. You want to get it to a good stopping point where it takes shape, but then you have to do some other things. First thing is to get it into a shape, and then I'm going to stop and get these other two into a shape. And then from there, I'm going to put the floor in and get that kind of inflated as well. And then I'm going to come back and inflate these all to the PSI that they're supposed to be at. By the way, this has been a great boat for like the kids going fishing on lakes, just taking it with their friends, because it fits into the car trunk so easily. All right, a little bit more, and I'm going to stop it at about 0.6 psi. Okay. With a little bit of inflation, it just makes it a lot easier to put this thing together. So I'll try and put this one in. There we are. While that's doing, I'm going to start inserting the floor into the boat. All right, I'm going to go around this side, do the same thing. And again, I'm going to inflate this to about 0.6 and stop there for now. I'll tell you what, this machine makes life so much easier when you're putting all of this together.
I think the key here is just to give yourself enough time to do it, just to relax and enjoy the journey, putting it together, as opposed to kind of rush. I don't think there's any medals being given out for who inflates their boat the fastest. Plus, I guess in this heat, it's nice to catch a break as well.
All right, there we go. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Very cool. Next thing is the floor. Now the floor goes up to a different PSI. It goes up to 10. And with this drop stitching, it means it becomes very, very, very solid. So again, I'm only going to partially inflate it because I still need to insert it into the shape that I need to be able to give the boat the easiest shape and balance. Again, you see why having space around makes a ton of difference. So the next thing is I've got to put these seats on before I inflate this too much. So I usually have it so the pockets kind of face inwards a little bit. And so these seats fit in these seat straps, and you can see why now. If you inflate this boat too much, they're not going to fit into these seat straps, and you're going to have to deflate them to be able to come back. So this pocket faces this way, this pocket I like to face this way, and then that way, when I'm sitting on the boat, I'm able to access both of them very easily. Now this is different from the EasyRaft because you don't really have to sit on the side tubes. There's so much space here, you can use these seats. Okay, I'm going to inflate this a bit more, and then we'll come back. So I need to get these tubes, the 3 chambers of these tubes, up to 3 psi. So you can see, once this is in place, this boat is a lot bigger and obviously more substantial. And that's really why these things don't compete with each other. If you have the space and the time for this solution, you would use it. If you have the space and time only for the EasyRaft solution, you would use that. And so if I'm car camping, this is my solution. If I'm taking a boat to the lake in a car, this is my solution. But if I'm using my Ranger Tug 27, the EasyRaft is my solution. See how these oars fix into the side here, and obviously with the better tracking of this boat, you know, it gives you a lot easier. I've paddled this, I've rowed this around the lake with myself and another person on board for a couple of hours, and you know, it tracks. Obviously it doesn't track the same way that a kayak would, or a sea kayak would, or something with, you know, a skeg, but this tracks very, very well. And with somebody or a couple of somebody sitting here, actually there's an Axopar video I think I've got somewhere on my channel from Christmas 2023 where there's a brief period of myself and the fam, or a couple of members of the fam, paddling around, and you can see there that I'm rowing, but I'm having to be coached in which direction. Now obviously picking this up is very different. So what I typically would do is to bring this whole thing up on its side if I'm going to pick it up. If not, I'm just going to lock the wheels in behind it into place. But to pick this up on its side gets a lot easier from the inside. Oh, still not the easiest. That was work. Okay, so to give you some kind of sense of proportion, this here is the TrueKit, fully inflated with the 2 seats and the oars on. Have not put the wheels on. Good reason for that. Don't lend kids kit without making sure they bring it all back to you. And then on this side, I have the EasyRaft. Now, you can see for yourself, this, trust me, is very heavy. Do not really want to try and do this by yourself. This, however, incredibly light. It has these straps in the center, so you can pick it up, move it around. It also comes with this line that's attached to the bow strap. The self-bailing functionality of it is pretty straightforward. it just has a lot of holes. This one has a self-bailing function here with a little gasket, very thin rubber gasket on the back that kind of moves with the water, so prevents water coming in. It's like a backflow preventer. This one feels way more solid, has a couple seats you can sit in, a couple of good sized bags that you can use. But that in essence is it. Which one do I choose? Well, depends what I'm using. If I'm going to be using the Ranger Tug 27, I'm going to use this. It takes up little to no space. It's very easy to put together. It's incredibly light, and it's usually only me on the boat. Perfect. If I'm going to go to the lake or I'm car camping and driving this somewhere, I'm going to use this. It goes way faster. This is just a displacement hull. This really goes up plain. You can use up to 10 horsepower, but it's a lot more involved. You need a lot more space, but when you're using it, you can really let it rip and really go some distance. It really depends on your application. If I had a larger yacht, I'd probably be more inclined to use this because I'd be able to keep it inflated all the time. As my boat, I need to be able to inflate and deflate. That's why I use this. This is great for going ashore. It's great for tootling around harbors. It's great for going exploring. Both of them are great applications depending on what the challenge is. That's why I have both these setups. Right. I hope that gives you an idea of why I use these. In the description of every video, obviously I put links. I'm not a paid, I do this for fun, not because I'm trying to become a YouTuber. So the links are genuinely to these people. This boat is made in, I think it's probably made in China, probably this one too, I'm not sure. But the company is based in New Zealand. The company here is based in Holland. Hans, who runs this company, said to me via email, when I told him I was going to be doing this video, he said, you know, two thumbs up, we really haven't focused on the US market at all. He's a very nice guy. I had to email him because he's out sailing. But this has an application, this has an application. It's a question of what is the application that matters most to you.
So I'm about to show how easy it is to pack this EasyRaft away. But before I do, I wanted just to show what the underside of this looks like. Because if anyone saw the recent video where I used this to go ashore in Texas, you can see that the beach was kind of shelly, and I had to pull the raft up and it was protected underneath. And so I just wanted to give a kind of a close-up to that. Anyway, the truth of it is that both of these boats are incredibly effective depending on the application. Now, as I start kind of putting away the EasyRaft and packing that up, you'll see why this boat is very useful for me on my Ranger Tug 27. I don't have a lot of space on there to store a big dinghy. I don't have a dinghy rack. If I had a dinghy rack in the back, there's one actually that comes from Ranger factory. But it looks to me like it would really interfere with the ability to walk around the engine or perhaps even to get on the boat in the first place. It's a big cumbersome thing. It's a great idea, and I think for depending on your use it may be applicable, but for me it was going to be in the way. So I need to have a dinghy that I can put together and take down very easily, that will pack away very easily, and that I can do in the cockpit of the Ranger Tug, which is not a huge space. It's much bigger than people think it would be, but it certainly, when I've tried to do it with the TrueKit, thankfully I wasn't mic'd up and kind of recording, because it wasn't, you know, it wasn't so much fun. Whereas this one packs down very easily. Now, if I'm going, you know, car camping, or I'm just taking a boat to the lake and I want to inflate it and I want to go quickly, I'm always going to take the TrueKit. I can take someone else on board. I can take plenty of stuff with me. It's got plenty of weight. Plus, and this is the big plus for the TrueKit, I can get on plane and I can move quickly. With the EasyRaft, it's not designed for that. it's designed specifically as a kind of a displacement dinghy. So it's perfect, absolutely perfect for those electric motors that we all like to use. It's light, it's easy to maneuver, it doesn't ask a lot of the engine, but when you have something that's this light, it means that, you know, the stability is a little different. It's still very good, but it's a little different from the TrueKit. And so really it's a question of where do you want to use the dinghy and what's the application. For me, when I go on the Ranger Tug, I'm always taking the EasyRaft. I'll never take the TrueKit. But in other applications, or when I used to have a bigger boat, I had the TrueKit, and then you would be able to use an engine and get up on plane. Anyway, I hope this gives you some good information on both of these things. These are my personal dinghy setups. This is not a which one is better kind of video. This is just an explanation as to why I use these setups in what context, and why I think both of them are very, 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 very good. You know, the TrueKit comes with a little shade, like a little bimini shade that you can attach, and I have it, and I have used it, which is really nice. And you can go on plane and at speed using that bimini, and it'll keep you shaded. The EasyRaft is something that is so helpful for me whenever I'm going around on the Ranger Tug, because it packs down so small. And just kind of fits away in the cockpit and leaves me plenty of other storage space as well. Actually, I'll probably, in future videos, I'll probably have some video of it where I store it. I'll show that. I'll do a kind of a walk around of the boat and how I set it up. But anyway, those are my dinghy solutions. So I hope this hasn't been as monumentally boring as I think it has been. But if it has been, I guess that nobody's listening to this bit other than my mum. So thanks very much if you have made it this far, and I'll try and make the next one a little bit more interesting.